What's up? I'm Gabby Wilson for MTV News, and I'm here with SZA talking about her debut album, Control. How you doing, girl?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm really excited that you came in to talk to us today. And I'm so excited to hear the full album.
Thank you.
How is it going to feel to have that finally released?
I have no idea. It's going to be really awesome or really scary.
Yeah. How does it feel right now to have it like so close on the
Really
precipice?
scary.
Really scary?
Yeah. Very, it's just scary.
Yeah?
That just kind of describes all of it. It's terrifying.
Why is that? Because of it's like vulnerable to put out work like that, or?
I think all of our work, if we're doing it correctly, is vulnerable. What you do, what I do, what everybody does.
For sure.
So it's a risk.
Well, a lot of the songs have been previewed on festivals and at shows. Was there any one song that got so much love from the crowd that you were like, oh, I definitely need to put this on the album?
No, because I was probably too scared to perform unreleased music the way that like Punch recommended that I perform unreleased music to let people decide if they liked anything. So I never really got like a full sense. I would just like, when I muster up enough courage to like sing a bar or like a few from a song that I like that's already worked on a live show, then like that's a thing. But I don't know, I never got a chance to have a full reaction from like a crowd going through all songs. It's weird.
Because I remember hearing Pretty Little Birds at Bonnaroo like 2 years ago. So what was that like? Why did you decide to sing some of that to that crowd?
Well, I also think everyone thought my album was coming out, even on my own label, like just a long time ago.
Right.
And I think we've all just been yo-yoing back and forth. Like, I was ready, they weren't ready, and then I'm not ready, and they're ready. Like, and it's just been like, but it's necessary. Like, everything happened as it should. And I'm very impatient, so it's very irritating. But I trust this process. I believe that everything is happening as it should.
Yeah. All in all, how long have you been working on this album?
It's weird. I haven't been working on the album for like the entire 4 years. I've just been learning, growing, figuring out what I wanted, what music meant to me, if I really loved it, like enough to put up with it even when it pissed me off or like when it got less fun.
Right. Because people might not know, you sort of like accidentally came into music.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So what, like having those conversations with yourself, if you like doing music or not, when did you have that moment where you were like, okay, I do want to do this?
I think those moments come from making songs that I like, that I personally like. Because I think I make a lot of music, but I don't like all of my music. But like some of it I don't dislike, but I'm coming from a space where I started to make music that I would listen to myself instead of conceptually what would I make music like if I made music, which is how I was making music before. Because I wasn't a musician. I'm like, if I was a musician,
you're like,
what would I sound like? Exactly, like or not even like what would I do? Like I don't know anything about music, so now it's just kind of like, oh, this is how I process information. This is how I process sound. This is how I express the way I process sound. Like, this is my style. Like, I didn't develop a style. So, now I don't have one.
What does the album title, Control, mean to you?
I think it's like a general, it's like more on a literal term, it's kind of a life concept to where I think all of us as human beings kind of grapple with the existence of control. Is it real? Do we have enough? Do we have any? If we don't, who does? Are we okay with them having it? There's just so many questions, and for me, like I have issues with authority and issues with self-control, issues with things that are out of my control, like the universe, people dying, losing jobs, losing money, losing time, because it's the one thing, like you just can't get back. And I didn't even realize time was such a commodity until probably this album taught me a lot. I didn't even realize it had been 4 years. Like, it's interesting. So control just kind of encompassed the way I feel about everything.
And by calling it control, do you sort of like take control of that narrative?
There's no such thing as control.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to take.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of accepting and then deciding and making moves, like choices, making choices. So I think I've always been very aggressive in terms of the way I feel and my opinions, but sometimes those aggressions and feelings aren't translated into my action and like the way that I move in the world. So this is kind of about just doing what you think, the things that are on your mind, the things that are like that you don't think you can achieve, or like that you admire in other people or that you wish you had. Like getting to those things in yourself, uncovering that.
Yeah. What about the computer aspect of it? Like, why use it the way that it is on a keyboard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very analog. Very like. There's something about analog. Like the idea of a computer, I have a lot of emotion tied to. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I grew up like when the internet was just starting to get interesting.
Right.
So it's just like this place where I want to sit and explore and like grow and do things. I want to sneak on AOL. I want to and email my friends about nothing, because we can definitely call each other.
Right.
Because our emails are dry as hell. We are young. But it's a matter of like, it's just interesting. Like, it's like the sneaking, the whole, like the abyss of the internet, like, or not
right.
even, or of a computer, of a PC. Then my parents, when everybody got Macs, and my parents were like, oh, I'm cool with
yeah, no, mine too.
It's crazy. And I'm just like, what? And it was not only that PC, it was like the same PC, that like the old one.
Right.
My mom just got rid of that PC. So there's something about it.
Does it make a cameo on the album art?
No, but I would, and I asked my mom too, and she was like, I would, it's just, you don't want that. You know, like your parents are very like, you don't want anything that's dusty and unused to be like used in the world.
Representation of your family. Yeah,
meanwhile,
totally.
I just put a bunch, my whole representation is dust. Like, I don't know. So it was like, I love the analog of it, and I just love the concept. I love the fight, the convincing myself it's real and then it's not real, etc.
Right. There is like a thread of nostalgia with a lot of your work too. You'll bring up like Patty Mayonnaise or Topanga or Pepper Ann, and then having these like old ass dusty computers on the album art. Is nostalgia something that you're like conscious of, or is it just?
I was reading this thing the other day, not the other day, but like almost a year ago, when everyone started like dipping into this 90s wave about why it was happening. And it was talking about how psychologically we're all just really fucking sad because we wish that we were children again and we are not having a good time.
Right.
So we're going back to the place that made us happy, and that was the 90s for us. And it's also kind of fashionable, so everyone else is just like, all right, lit.
Right.
But it's interesting. So I think I'm just kind of going through that mental process of like remembering emotions that I didn't process when I had them, and like deciding what they mean to me, and like bringing it all together.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What were you like in like the 90s and 2000s in high school or middle school or whatever?
I was not in high school in the 90s. I was barely, I was
in the 2000s
waddling.
You were.
I was 2000s. I was probably deciding if I wanted to like stick with Jenko jeans and bracelets, or if I wanted to like branch out into something like a tad more effeminate. And I was trying to figure out, I was like switching.
You were like, are you Aaliyah or Beyonce?
Limp Bizkit. Neither. I was more like, am I Limp Bizkit makes you gray, or
am
I like, or am I going into like
Lauren Conrad,
or am I going to Lauryn Hill, like, or am I Jill Scott right now? I was in a very, I don't know, just Beyonce and Aaliyah and all those. My parents didn't really like, I wasn't privy to that connection super early, but I definitely, that wasn't my thought process. I was just like, or am I gonna, or something fight related. I loved like boxing and like Mortal Kombat, just like just being very physical. Like I was obsessed with just finding ways to play fighting with my dad.
Like sports and stuff too.
I love sports. I love just finding a way to move and do stuff.
What was high school like for you?
A mess.
Yeah.
A literal mess, a headache and a half. And I would definitely do it over, because I would definitely realize it's how I got here. And if I had more friends in high school, and if I had a better time, or like if I was more popular, like who knows? I probably would have been like, whoa, I hit my apex. Like I might as well just do whatever. I don't know. But I think I spent a lot of my time in high school being unpopular and unliked and lonely, and not know anything about myself. So when I got out, I was just like, well, gotta have more than that. Like, there's gotta be more to it than that, or what do I like, or how can I, is this really like the bottom line? Like, is this the world? And then I figured out it wasn't. And I figured it out a lot sooner, I think, because I didn't have any friends to distract me. And I think... So
you're just like alone with your thoughts.
Yeah, and my ideas. So like I was obsessed with Pharrell, and I would like, I had no problem skipping school to go see him play a concert, or like not going to prom and going to Florida instead with my mom and my best friend, like just doing stuff that made me happy. Yeah. But I don't know, I'm thankful, very, very thankful. To anyone that feels dorky or like ostracized in high school, I'm sure you'll be much better off for it. None of that shit matters. I can guarantee you. Literally guarantee you, I promise. This sounds like a lie, but it's true.
You've been really open in the past about being bullied in high school. Yeah. Do you have anything that you'd want to say to like other kids that are struggling with that?
I wish that I learned how to not internalize. That's something I just learned like very recently, not about the bullying, but about internalizing other people's feelings and emotions and like projections, because I like created a lot of guilt within myself for being disliked, because I was like, well, what did I do like to be disliked, or like what's wrong with me, and I would try to like change things about myself to make people like me. And while the brief changes would bring a brief change in behavior toward like the way people treated me, and it would make me feel better for a second, it didn't change, like it didn't increase my friends, it didn't increase my confidence, it didn't mean that I could now beat up the girl from around the corner, like. So I think, I don't know, I wish I could, right now, I think I want kids to focus on not internalizing other people's pain and fears. Kids are mean because they're sad and scared and confused and, you know, have misplaced thoughts, and it's really weird, and parents are so old and removed from that. It's so hard to even prevent your kid from like being a dick, because it's like you don't, to you it doesn't even make sense to why your kid would be tripping this way, or etc. Or maybe you are the reason. I don't know, but it's just, it's weird. I think, I don't know, I wish, I can't even explain it. I want to like, I should probably just try to figure out how to explain that. And if I could bottle it and really make it a thing, because not internalizing the feelings and like the pain of other people is super freeing. Because you know, you can't be bullied unless people, like you let people bully you. Exactly. And I definitely let people bully me because I didn't know how to choice. I didn't know how to, you have a choice. You can totally just get the fuck out. You can mind your business. You can you can continue being an awesome person. You can continue studying whatever excites you, or looking into stuff that, find out any hobby, leave high school, leave the town that you're in. Like, there's so much world. It's fake, I can't explain.
Well, you've spoken about this album being more honest than previous projects.
I hate that I said that too. It's yeah, I don't know. You can't really talk about or define honesty. It just has to be felt, or it just has to be a thing.
Well, what do you think you're doing differently with this project that you didn't before?
I'm not thinking as much. I will say that, because I think honesty usually comes from the moments that you're not thinking about. So, and because I freestyled like 95% of my work, it's all kind of just coming from like a feeling place, like wherever I feel, like whatever these chords make me feel, etc. And then I just speak my piece over that, and then I listen back, and then I'd be like, what do I feel about that? But sometimes when I hear my words back, I get very embarrassed of myself, because I'm like, wow, that's so crazy, like, or why did you say that? But it's like my subconscious talking to me. Like,
so that's your writing process. You don't come in with like something pre-written. You'll be in there with a producer.
I do take voice notes, but because my friends all tell me, my music friends, they'd be like, oh, take a voice note. I just never like revisit them. It's weird. Every time I try to have like appropriate planning, like if I do voice note or like a pre-writing session, like right at home, and be like, I'm very prepared. Like, I just get it, and it's just like, this is very whack. Like, this is not the way that I thought it was gonna go. So, I don't know. You gotta wing it.
Yeah.
For me.
How much of the album would you say is like freestyled?
All of it?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's more so like, I'll go down one take, go back, and then like listen to it and be like, do I like that? No, this is a shitty line. Let me do this line over, and then go back. You know, and like you edit. It's like a draft. It's like school. It's like you make an outline. Right. Maybe first draft, second draft, final draft.
Cool.
That's all.
So when did you make the transition to SZA? And for people who don't know or aren't familiar with the Supreme alphabet, what does that mean?
Cool. So that's self-savior zigzag-a-la, derived from the Supreme alphabet, where every letter represents an ideal, like spiritual, metaphysical, but also real life, kind of empowering, it's like, I can't explain it, it's like functional. So it's like zigzag, zig, knowledge of oneself, enlightenment of oneself, Allah, the Most High, self-savior, that's like self-explanatory.
Yeah.
But it's more so just kind of, it's just about knowing yourself, I think, and more so looking to yourself first and having understanding and reverence and respect for God at the same time, and having just a gnarly name instead of people calling me Solana.
Sure.
Because it's long as hell.
When did you decide to go by SZA though?
I don't know. I changed my Twitter. I literally remember the day. I called Kareem and I was like, I can't be called Sosa. Chief Keef just came out and everyone's calling him Sosa. Like, because that's what my friends call me, Sos for sure.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, oh shit. And he's like, well, it's your name. You should just stick by your name. And I'm like, well, I don't think we can do that. So I was panicking and I was like, well, my career's over before it started. And then
This is terrible for my brand. Chief
Yeah.
Keef is so bad for my brand.
Not even that. Not even that. I just thought people would think I was corny, like trying to basically
true,
like bite off of Chief Keef. And I'm just like, his music is hot. It was like he just came out. And I'm like, he's lit. He's from out of nowhere. I just can't do it. Or they might get us confused and think that I'm just on some whole other shit.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, okay, I think I don't know, it just came to me. Instead of Sosa, I think SZA just made sense. And then after looking into the Supreme alphabet, and then like I have a natural love of woo, I feel like things in the universe that you think about and desire find you. Like, and they make sense to you later on in time. So like that name arrived at me before I even thought about all these other things, and then I started looking up the other things the second that I arrived at the name. And then it all just unfolded from there. It was weird.
Yeah, let's talk about that RZA interlude too. What does it mean to you to have that on the album? And how did it come about?
Well, he does all the video intros for the for like our trailers, and I think he is such an icon. And when you think of the Supreme alphabet and my name, or even of the Wu-Tang Clan, like there's never been anything like it again. And I don't know, he's just so brilliant. He's a leader, but he's also an artist and very articulate, but capable of having a bunch, like he's very multifaceted between film and then like soundscaping. And I love even his current sounds right now, they sound beautiful. And it's crazy, like, because you would think that after time or whatever the case, it sounds like he has like a style. Remember I was telling you, like, do I have a style?
Right.
He has a style, and I love his style.
Which I'm sure that he's worked at for years to get to, too.
And I even think, your style, I think, is like just a part of you, and then you just magnify whatever you means. So I feel like Bobby Digital and like, or any kind of like different face of RZA is probably just the cultivation of the many faces of him. I don't know, or like of his personal styles, like of these individuals in him and their styles.
So how did you get him to like collaborate on the project?
I don't remember. That happened so long ago.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was like 2 years ago.
Wow, so you've been sitting on that for like 2 years.
Yeah, I've been sitting on a lot of things.
I'm sure you've been sitting on a lot of things for a lot of years.
Random things, but I try to figure out like where do I put it and where does it make sense. I know Punch, I don't know. Punch like kind of surprised me with that. I don't remember how it came before that, but he just took me to go meet RZA on a speedboat once, and it was a beautiful day, and he played beautiful music.
As one does.
Right. Yeah. It was crazy. It was crazy. He was amazing.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the other tracks on the album that the majority of people haven't heard yet. Supermodel, you've said, is one of your favorite tracks on the album. Why is that?
It was the song that required the least effort, and that's it.
That's it?
Yeah, it just required the least effort, and it was just on both ends. Like, the instrumentation for that, my friend just learned how to play guitar overnight. And he taught himself with like a random guitar that he found, and he just started playing his chords. And it wasn't in tune, and it's not quantized or on a grid or anything, which made it really annoying because no one else could like add to it or be a part of it. But it's a very natural, like it's something I've never done. I haven't accomplished for myself. So it was good to get something that was just like completely free and like not painful or like an effort. It was just a feeling, and it was Yeah.
Are you drawing from any like specific personal experiences from that?
Yeah, this whole album is about every time I've ever had my heart broken, like, or ever had, I grew up really naive and really, like, I just trust everyone. And not even, I think, because I lacked a lot of self-love, I desired to be loved a lot, to the point where I would pretend that I was being loved. And then, but I also wanted to pretend that I was, like, bossy and didn't need to be loved, like, at the same token, so. But then when you do that, you end up with a dude that doesn't really love you, because you were pretending, and you can't cheat the universe. So sometimes when you're faking, the universe will give you what you gave it. So that's just what happened. It was just a weird thing. Like, I feel like I need you. I want to front like I don't. I wish things were different. We looked good together, like we vibe together, everyone likes us together. I'm also very, like, I'm just too insecure to be with you right now. I'm too young, you're doing too much cool stuff, the girls are too bad, like I'm too dweeby, like it was a weird place.
You're really like in your head.
Yeah, always. Yeah. When that was like a crazy, I guess this album is like a combination of like major relationships, like 4 major relationships in my life, just kind of broken down in like different sections. I don't know.
There's also a through line of vulnerability and kind of like a pressure to be a certain kind of girl, right? I think that's what I got from like reading things like Sephora and Drew Barrymore. Yeah, for sure. I think I definitely there's pressure to be a certain type of person for everyone. I think to be normal, as least problematic as you can possibly be, and be sweet while also being a boss is like the goal for everybody. But it's like most of us are not naturally that way. I'm not. I don't know. No, we're
I'm
all
not naturally
complex
poised.
human beings.
Well, but for sure. But some of us are just more poised than others.
Sure.
And I think I've always desired to be like very poised and very like together and like know everything I was finna say before I said it. But I've spent 90% of my life putting my foot in my mouth. So it's just like, that's just not in the cards for me. But that's also something I just have to accept. Yeah, you just have to accept that. I'm not smooth. And that's okay.
I appreciate that honesty. Why was it important for you to get your TDE family on this debut album?
It's the obvious choice. No, I love my family. I think, honestly, my family is just the best. And I want the best on my album. Cool. So it made sense.
Yeah. So let's talk about Love Galore with Travis Scott. Why did you decide to collaborate with him? And what was that process like?
I love Travis Scott as an artist. Like, I'm just a fan. I think like everybody is, and he just makes bangers. The way that he rides on the beat, it's weird. He uses a certain type of mic that's very clear and crisp. It's like a C800 or something. But it's I love the texture of his vocals. I love the way that he has like melody, but it's very aggressive. It's like very like, it's simple. It's just, I don't know. It's just gorgeous. Yeah.
What did you learn from working with him as like a producer or songwriter?
We didn't work that closely on this, but weird. I've been to his studio house when he was working on another project, and he's very involved in everything, very detail oriented. And even on this song, like he sent it back like mad times, like, this is wrong. Correct this. And I'm just like, but he's incredible. That's what you're supposed to do when you're incredible. So. Yeah.
Why did you guys decide to go into like the misery angle of the video?
Oh no. I'm sorry, Travis. I love Misery, and I love those movies, and I love Kathy Bates. That movie scared the shit out of me when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I was really more about the butterflies. It was just more so I wanted a reason to juxtapose our worlds. Like, I think of him as a very like, he mixes like this like dark seriousness, like ethereal quality, and which is like reminiscent of the way of like old me, where I was like more dark and ethereal and in that space. But I'm very bright right now in terms of just the way I feel. So I wanted to blend our worlds. Like, I love butterflies, but I'm still that person. Like, I'm still drawn to like mystery and like creepy things and things that go bump in the night. And that's who he is. Like, he's the epitome of such things, and I just think he looks beautiful on film. It was a beautiful song. He totally held me down. Thank you, Jess.